Welcome to day 3 on board the beautiful Disney Dream. And as today is a sea day, this vlog's going to show you a lot of food, and I'll also get to show you around even more of this fantastic ship. But back to the food. Disney Cruise Line offer complimentary room service breakfast. You just fill in the card that's inside your cabin the night before, saying what food you'd like and when you'd like it to be delivered. And of course, on a sea day, the best place to have your breakfast is out on your veranda. For me, this is one of the absolute delights of cruising. And as it's a sea day, the shops are all open, so I went down to take a look. This was the merchandise created for the Disney Dream's summer European sailing season, and I'll be showing all the merchandise that was on board the ship in an upcoming video. Please subscribe so you don't miss that or any of my other Disney Cruise Line videos. And carrying on with the shopping theme, in the Buena Vista Theatre there was a diamond showcase, which was a presentation on the mining and cutting of diamonds. And of course there is diamond encrusted Disney Cruise Line jewellery for sale on the ship. Well, quite obviously very, very expensive. And then it was time to brave the buffet and head to Cabanas. Cabanas is a huge buffet that wraps around the entire rear of the ship. There's a huge variety of food to choose from curries to wraps to cold meat and cheeses. There's also a soup station. You can have rice, mushrooms or mashed potatoes to go along with the pork chops and steaks from the galley grill. And there's a choice of bread, fish and roasted vegetables. There seemed to be an almost permanent long line for a pizza at Neptune's Italian. Those looking for a healthier option, there are plenty of salads available. And I went for a bit of a mix, which was pork chop and mash and chicken tikka masala and rice. I then went back inside to get some crab's legs. They tasted really delicious, but boy were they a faff to get the meat out. But overall it's pretty tough to beat lunch with this stunning view. And after lunch I headed to the Walt Disney Theatre to see the matinee performance of Beauty and the Beast. There's going to be 3 performances throughout the day. I decided to go for the first one so I'd free up the rest of my afternoon and early evening so I could explore more of the activities on board the ship. Disney Cruise Line has a very strict policy on banning any recordings of their shows. Beauty and the Beast is based on the 1991 Disney classic of the same name, which itself was based on an 18th century French fairy tale. The show was absolutely magnificent and probably pipped We Will Rock You and Anthem of the Seas as my favourite cruise line performance of the year. The story, the songs and the set design were all perfect. And of course my highest praise will have to be for the cast, who were absolutely wonderful. Sometimes on cruise ships I think that the singing isn't quite as good as I would see elsewhere. This was the type of performance that you would expect if you were going to see a show on the West End or Broadway. Headline shows as good as this is one of the reasons why Disney stands out from the crowd. I then headed to the aft of the ship where the 2 adult-only specialty dining restaurants are. To the left is Palo, which is an Italian-inspired restaurant. I had the Palo brunch on the Disney Magic and it was absolutely incredible, highly recommended. And on the opposite side is Remy, which is a French-inspired restaurant. The menu looks out of this world, so is the price. Maybe I'll get to eat here on a future Disney cruise. And in between the 2 restaurants is Meridian, which is a rather swanky cocktail lounge. I had come here for the Art of the Theme ship tour. This is a free experience where one of the Disney Cruise Line cast members will show you some of the design features around the ship. It was really interesting to have some of these design features pointed out to you. Even in this bar where the seating was designed to resemble leather luggage. And the wallpaper design were passport stamps. And at Remy's there's a bottle of 1947 Cheval Blanc wine worth $25,000. Tour took 45 minutes and our guide Jess was so knowledgeable and enthusiastic. She said that she could have spent the whole day showing us around the ship and all the features, and I believe her. The chandelier in the main atrium has 88,000 Swarovski crystals. And the Tiffany blue glass outside of Carriage Jewels is a throwback to when the Tiffany company used to run the store. While the district is adult only during the evenings, during the day there are some activities for all ages. Disney trivia was taking place. I sat at the bar and had a beer. I then went outside to catch the sunset. They are absolutely magical when you're at sea. And I just love the Art Deco elegance on this ship. And it was then quiz time in Evolution. The first quiz was famous film quotes. And as you're on Disney Cruise Line, that's going to let you know where all of these quotes are from. If you know which films the 3 quotes on the screens are from, please let me know in the comments below. It was just a bit of a shame that the host didn't have a little bit more Disney enthusiasm. And followed by this was the music quiz, where the first few seconds of very famous songs were played and you had to guess the answers. Our third and final rotational dining restaurant was going to be the Royal Palace, which, like the Enchanted Garden where I ate the previous evening, this also is French inspired. And I've never seen a napkin transformed into a jacket before. And our excellent service brought out the menus. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like to study the menus further. And as you can see, there are some classic French dishes available. This is a 4-course menu, but on Disney Cruise Line you can order as much food as you would like. There are also vegetarian and lighter no options too. Tonight's bread service consisted of French country rolls and an olive spread. There's something quite European about drinking a 21-ounce Spanish beer in a French restaurant. For starters I went for Gaston's escargot gratiné, which is snails, finely chopped mushrooms and garlic butter. Which both sounds and looked utterly disgusting, but do you know what? It tasted really good. And my other half had the red wine Beau's pear salad. And for my soup course I went for a French onion with Gruyere cheese. This is such a French classic. For my main course I went with a roasted rack of lamb, which came with dolphin mashed potatoes and Brussels sprouts with a burgundy rosemary sauce. And just for the benefit of you, my wonderful viewers, I also went for the Chateaubriand roasted fillet steak, which came with buttered new potatoes, green beans and a red wine dew. Both dishes were delicious, and this would be classed as specialty dining on other cruise lines. After the main course, our servers brought out the dessert menu. My dessert, I went with the apple tart tartane, which was a caramelised baked apple with vanilla ice cream. While my other half went for the Gros Marnier soufflé. The creme brulee was lovely and there was a satisfying snap as you cracked the top of it open. This meal was absolutely faultless. And just outside the restaurant there was a huge crowd of fellow passengers waiting to meet Captains Mickey and Minnie. I would describe this as fantastically organised chaos. But unsurprisingly, these are the characters that all the kids wanted to meet. I then headed down to Evolution for some adult-only game shows. The late night mini buffet in the district was a great place to grab a quick bite to eat. The food is laid out around 11 o'clock and by about 11:30 it'll be completely gone. And I then headed back into the district lounge for some late night music. And back at the cabin, tonight's blanket animal was a crab. And just like that, I'm back in Southampton and I'm about to disembark the ship. However, there's one very important thing I have to do first. And yes, you've guessed it, I'm off to breakfast. Just like dinner last night, it's going to be held in the beautiful Royal Palace. At dinner the previous night, our waitstop had informed us that we would be on the same table the following morning, and they gave us our time, which was 8:15. And then they brought out the breakfast menu. Feel free to pause the video so you can read the menu yourself. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank our server, Nikolai Christic, our assistant server, Ver de la Cruz, and our head server, Rexon Rodriguez, who all worked so hard to make our cruise absolutely fantastic. Started off with an orange juice and a coffee, followed by a bagel, sliced smoked salmon and cream cheese, which I put together to make a bagel sandwich. Also tried the breakfast tortilla and the eggs for the road, which is a Disney Cruise Line classic. But I'll give this 4 out of 10 for presentation. And while unfortunately the breakfast tortilla was very dry, the eggs for the road were absolutely spot on. And while it was sad that this adventure is now over, they have to end so that a new adventure can begin. Something I find really handy are these Disney character luggage tags, which makes it really easy to find your luggage once you're back inside the terminal. All you need to do is to find your character banner and your luggage will be below that. This is just one of those very simple but very clever things. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on.